So this was quite the chapter. At first I was a little disappointed that we're still over on the mainland with the Marley. I still really want to see what's going on Parody Island, but man, all that initial disappointment is now gone after all the crazy crap that we learned about in this chapter. Also, just a heads up, I know this chapter came out super early, but the official translation still isn't out yet, so I'm going off of unofficial translations, which for Attack on Titan are usually pretty awful. So if I get any things wrong, I'll leave something out, feel free to correct me, and if I find out something is wrong, then I will correct myself. We have a lot to go over, but first I think we're going to talk about Ymir. Ymir has been on my mind a bit recently because now they're covering all that stuff with her and Historia in the anime. And it got me thinking just a couple days ago, you know, well, what the crap's up with Ymir? Where is she? We just had a 4-year time skip. A lot of people have speculated that she is dead. A lot of people think that she still may come back, but we just had no idea. But in this chapter, and rather anticlimactically, we actually learn of her fate. She dead. She is 100% confirmed devoured. So while I sort of expected her to already be dead, I wasn't really expecting the information that we got along with it. So it turns out that Ymir was actually the Jaw Titan. That's right, her Titan for a long time never had a name. It was usually referred to as the Dancing Titan, even though that was an unofficial name. So it turns out originally Bertolt, Reiner, and this one dude Marcel, they infiltrated Parody Island about 9 years ago now, and as we know, they run into Ymir, and Ymir eats Marcel. We figured that Marcel just had whatever the crap the Dancing Titan was, but it turns out he was actually the Jaw Titan, and then Ymir becomes the Jaw Titan, inherits those crazy teeth. And I mean, that makes sense, that's what her Titan is really known for. But we also have to remember that Ymir was never really with them. You know, she was a mindless Titan for a while before she became a shifter. So when she went back to the mainland with them, it seems like, you know, they imprisoned her. And then we have Galliard, who is actually Marcel's brother. He devoured Ymir and got the Jaw Titan power for himself. And also Ymir sort of let him do it because she kind of felt bad for, you know, eating his brother. So yeah, that was a pretty interesting revelation. But now that's a bit of a problem, because now that we know that Ymir's Titan and Galliard's Titan were the same Titan power, then who the crap is the 9th Titan shifter? We know that there are 9, and we figured, yeah, there are 9. The Dancing Titan and the Jaw Titan, they're separate, but it turns out they're not. They're one and the same. So who the crap is the 9th Titan shifter? We do actually get to meet another Titan shifter. Her name is Piku, and apparently she was a Titan for 2 whole months, and she, you know, she was back. She's not feeling that great. She can barely walk. I'm assuming it's the Cartman Titan. That's who I'm assuming it is, but it could also be the 9th Titan that we really don't know anything about now at this point. So all that out of the way, there's still a good bit to talk about. So like we saw at the end of the last chapter, while the Marley did beat the Middle Eastern whoever the craps, they did a good deal of damage to Reiner because they now have weapons that can pierce his armor. So we see this military meeting going on where Zeke is present, and they're discussing how Titans are becoming less and less effective in wars. They say, you know, eventually we're going to have airplanes and all that stuff that'll be going on in the sky. Titans are just going to be completely obsolete. But Zeke steps in, he's like, no, listen, we should really still retake Parody Island because it's going to take time before we get to that point. And Titans are still useful, especially if we have the Fanning Titans power, so we should really go about doing that. And they're like, alright Zeke, you got 1 year. Because why? Because that's when your time's up, that's when you're dead. And we learned some very, very exciting news. It turns out that in the past 4 years, they ended up sending warships over to beat the crap out of Parody Island. Out of all those 32 warships, not a single one returned. And then we see this one picture of Eren and I guess Armin's Colossal Titan. And it got me so excited. I cannot wait to see what has been going on over there in these past 4 years. So it is confirmed that Zeke has been a Titan for 12 years. We also get to see a good bit of Reiner in this chapter. It's also confirmed that Reiner has only 2 years left to live. So then we get some really interesting stuff involving Reiner. Stuff that I honestly wasn't really prepared for. They make you feel bad for him. They make you feel so bad for him. See, ever since the big reveal that Reiner was the Armored Titan, he's just been an antagonist. He's been someone you hated. You're like, oh my god, I cannot wait for them to beat the shit out of Reiner. And when they almost finally do kill him in the last arc, I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. You know, let's cut his head off, chop him to bits. Now I sort of feel bad for thinking all of those things. He's hanging around with, you know, the younger generation, these soldiers that they're training to one day maybe inherit the Titan powers. And if you remember, you had this one girl, Gabby, who did really well in the battle. It seems like she's going to be the person to eventually inherit the Armored Titan. And then Reiner is talking to, I believe it was Falco. I'm still not super big on all these new characters, but I believe that's who he was talking to. And Falco is like, you know, she's probably going to inherit your powers, Reiner. That's pretty cool. Best case scenario, she's only going to live to be 27. I don't know how I feel about that. And then Reiner gives him like a death glare. He's like, yo, Yo, you talking shit about the Marley? It's an honor. It is an honor and a privilege to become a Titan soldier for them. What are you saying? Because apparently if you're an Eldian and you speak ill about the Marley, you will be turned into a mindless Titan soldier. So Reiner tells him, he's like, listen, if you want to save Gabby, you gotta surpass her. You gotta inherit this power because it is a curse, it is not a blessing. And this really makes you think, you know, the Eldians, you know, Reiner, Bertolt, Annie, Marcel, all of them, they've had shitty lives. I mean, they've probably been raised to be soldiers from the very beginning. Their entire race of people is just completely oppressed and treated like shit. The only reason these guys get special treatment is because they are forced to be soldiers against their will, and they've been brainwashed into thinking, hey, being a Titan is great, we get to serve the Marley, oh boy. But in reality, I mean, that's just cutting like a shit ton off their lifespan. Like, they're only gonna live for 13 more years after they become a Titan. And it makes you feel really bad for Reiner. I mean, Jesus, most of the stuff he's done, he didn't have any say in it. So that's where the chapter ends. We really have no idea what is going to happen next. Like I said, I'm super excited to see what's going on Parody Island, but honestly, if we get another chapter over on the mainland that's just as good as this one, I'd be perfectly fine. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. You can leave your thoughts on this chapter in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.